Happy Tuesday, June 4th, everyone. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. And in today's weather forecast, we're going to be going over extreme heat that will be building across the south and the west as we go through the next few days, as well as severe weather chances over the next 48 hours. And we're going to look long range in towards the middle of June. When do we finally break this pattern? We're going to answer that question later on in today's video. Also, make sure if you have not seen my June forecast for 2024 and everything that goes along with it, make sure to go watch that video. It is in the description down below this video. Also, make sure to subscribe to my channel as we do daily weather forecast videos on this channel. We'll have another one out tomorrow. Also, be sure to press the like button and leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. We'll get to those later on in the video. So let's look here first at our weather alerts across the country. And we have a lot of heat alerts across portions of Texas, stretching back toward California here. Where you see those oranges, those are heat advisories. That's where heat index values could climb over the triple digit point. And then where you see the pinks and purples, those are excessive heat warnings. And look how numerous they are over here in Arizona, southern Nevada, and especially into California, including the Sacramento Valley. We're seeing a lot of heat alerts. And when you see excessive heat warnings in areas like Arizona, California, South Texas, and Nevada, you know it's hot because it's already hot this time of year. It is June after all. So let's peek into those heat index values and temperatures. You can see today's high temperature is pretty hot down here. Look at this in West Texas, Lubbock 101, 103 in Midland, and 102 over here in Abilene. And looking at the heat index values, yes, we have a lot of high heat across portions of Texas. The Dallas-Fort Worth area today, 106 degree heat index value there, 106 over there with the heat index in Shreveport, 106 as well in Houston, and 116 down into parts of the Rio Grande Valley today. Just a very, very big scorching day for heat down there as we go through the day. And this continues not only through today, but Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I think Thursday and Friday will be the peak of the heat for the desert Southwest. So if you live over here in Arizona, southern Nevada, and California, the peak of the heat will be Thursday and Friday this week. So make sure you stay hydrated across those areas that we just mentioned. So now let's look at the storm zones. We did have the storm reports come in from yesterday. We had a lot of wind reports down here into the Arklatex, Arklamis region down here into the lower Mississippi Valley, 71 wind reports. Thankfully, no tornadoes reported yesterday, so that is the silver lining that we did see in this very active pattern we've been seeing. And let's look at this. So let's zoom the picture out here and show you what we're seeing. So here is the ridge of high pressure that is in firm control across the west coast and the desert Southwest today. This is the focal point for all the heat. That's why we're seeing it out across the west. Here is the trough. So when you have a ridge out west, you have a trough out east most times, and here's the trough. It's negatively tilted as we go through today and continues to negatively tilt as we go into tomorrow on Wednesday. And look at that ridge bringing all that heat out west as well, just to the west of that trough. But that trough will be bringing severe weather. So we have another slight risk all the way up to the U.S.-Canadian border, all the way south here towards the Gulf of Mexico today, from the upper Midwest down into the central southern plains and the lower Mississippi Valley. Places like the Twin Cities, Des Moines, down here toward Kansas City, into Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Dallas, Fort Worth, into the Texarkana area, and then stretching over toward Monroe, Louisiana, and Jackson, Mississippi. We have that slight risk for some severe weather. Damaging winds are going to be a big deal with this, as well as some large hail. And there is a concern centered around Oklahoma, northeast Texas, and southwestern Arkansas we'll address in a moment for wind and hail. But you can see the tornado threat is definitely there, especially from Oklahoma City southwest toward Lawton, the Altus area, and then back toward Childress and Wichita Falls, Texas, as we go through the day today. So let's look at the setup here. It is extremely, extremely uncomfortable outdoors as you go outdoors across portions of Oklahoma today, North Texas into western portions of Arkansas into northwestern Louisiana. I mean, dew points are in the upper 70s to low 80s. This is air you can wear. The second you walk outdoors, you start sweating immediately. That is what we're seeing. And look at all the thunderstorm fuel, folks. This is your surface-based convective available potential energy. And I mean, it doesn't get higher than this. We're seeing values peaking at 7,000 joules per kilogram by about 6-7 o'clock this evening across the Red River Valley here. So we are seeing explosive thunderstorm development possible as we go through later today. So late this morning, we are seeing some showers and storms scattered about from the Midwest up here into the high plains and central plains. Not too big of a deal. Going into the afternoon, more organized line, or at least a broken line of showers and storms developing up here into Minnesota, western Iowa, Nebraska, down into Kansas. Still some isolated to scattered activity here in the lower Mississippi Valley. Do take notice of central Oklahoma this evening. This is the start of what could be a very active night across the eastern side of Oklahoma and the eastern side of the Lone Star State here of Texas. And you can see a big mesoscale convective system, possibly a bow echo, developing here. And a bow echo on radar is that backward C shape pushing the rainfall forward. And we could literally see winds over 75 miles per hour on the leading edge of this across portions of eastern Oklahoma into Arkansas, into northeastern Texas, and maybe even northern portions of Louisiana here. So we'll watch that, and that'll be after midnight, folks. So this will be a very early event as we go into Wednesday. Not only will it be producing severe weather, but also heavy rainfall eastern Oklahoma into northeast Texas, into Arkansas, into parts of Louisiana and western Mississippi. Some of these areas could be seeing 1, 2, 3, even 4 inches worth of rain through your Wednesday morning time frame. And looking at the past 10 days of your precipitation anomaly, departure from normal, look at that. We're around 225% of normal across portions of northeast Texas, parts of Arkansas, and parts of Louisiana here. And that is leading to that flash flood risk as we have more heavy rain over the saturated soils there. We have a moderate risk for that across southeastern portions of Oklahoma, northeast Texas, into parts of southwestern Arkansas, northwestern portions of Louisiana, and then a large slight marginal risk really taking up residents across most of the eastern 2/3 of the country. And just to give you an idea, what is a moderate risk for flash flooding? Well, numerous flash floods are likely because of saturated soil. Many streams may flood, potentially affecting some larger rivers in those areas. So we'll have to watch that. Again, turn around, don't drown. Never drive on any flooded roadways. Then as we go into Wednesday, marginal risk for some severe weather up near Detroit, the Cleveland area, Toledo, back there toward portions of the Cincinnati area. We're really not seeing that big of a deal, wind and hail. And then as we go into Thursday, we're going to see that just a general thunderstorm risk across the east as that cold front moves further east. So here's the cold front. There's the low pressure system. Low pressure way up here into Manitoba, very far displaced from portions of the Ohio Valley. So the dynamics are not there for any widespread severe weather, but I suppose a couple of isolated storms could fire up with 60-mile-per-hour wind and some quarter-size hail. The tornado threat, I mean, folks, it doesn't get lower. It's pretty low as we go into Wednesday. As we go into Thursday, we do have some showers and storms pretty diffuse across the east, and then Friday we get rid of that storm with maybe some backwash moisture there across the Great Lakes. And looking at that 3-day period, Wednesday, June 5th through Friday, June 7th, here is the rainfall, pretty spotty from the northeast down here through the Ohio Valley, mid-Atlantic into the southeast. The heaviest rains up near the track of that surface low up there into Manitoba and Ontario and southern Quebec here, where we could see a few inches of rain as we go through that Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday time frame. What about the weekend? Well, as we're getting closer to the second weekend of June, Saturday, June 8th into Sunday, June 9th, we're going to still have that ridge out west. So what this means is a lot of heat building across the west and the Pacific Northwest, and a lot of cooler weather across the Great Lakes and the east here. Going into the weekend, let's look at our temperature anomalies. That trough we just showed you will bring below normal temperature anomalies out east. This does not mean it's going to be cold. It is the second week of June we are talking about here, folks. So if your normal is 85 degrees Fahrenheit, 84 degrees Fahrenheit is technically below normal. So that's all it will take. And then out west, you can see a lot of above normal heat out here. So same thing. If your normal high is 85 and you're 86 degrees, that is above normal, and maybe even significantly above that. We're seeing areas that could be approaching 35 degrees above normal out west here. Let's look at that this weekend on Saturday. Here's the heat across the south. There's the heat across the west, and there's the cool weather out east here, okay? So we see the ridge out west, trough out east, so warmer out west, cooler out east. And looking here at the heat index, look at that across Texas. Yes, You want the rain in Texas? No, you do not want the heat in Texas. So it's kind of a, lose-lose situation here where you need the rainfall, but you don't want the rainfall because it makes it a lot more muggy out here. You can see across portions of southern Oklahoma and into East Texas, heat index values, again, around the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Tyler, Texas, down to Houston, Lake Charles, 100 to 105 as we go into Saturday. Going into Sunday, a lot of cool air. Look at the Great Lakes, 50s and 60s for highs up here into the Northeast as well. Much of southeastern Canada, but while the West, look at that, over here into Arizona, Phoenix, 101, 100 degrees approaching there into the Las Vegas region, and heat index values, again, all near the Gulf Coast. Upper 90s to low 100s as we go into Sunday afternoon. So the heat will be on, that's for sure. Make sure to stay hydrated. And as we go into the weekend, precipitation-wise, that trough is going to spin like a pinwheel across portions of the Great Lakes, and you can see more spokes of energy across this region with showers and thunderstorms that will likely be non-severe. We're not going to see a lot of energy building up here because of the cooler air. When it's in the 50s and 60s, we just don't have the energy for severe weather, but it will be adding up. There will be spotty showers, so an unsettled weekend for parts of the upper Great Lakes, southeastern Canada for Ontario and southern Quebec, but also northeast for Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, upstate New York, and into Massachusetts. Some heavier rains over an inch there, and then a swath of some stronger storms possible down across the same areas, again, from the Central Plains down into Dixie Alley as we go into the weekend. Early next week, trough out east, ridge out west. You know what that means? Heat out west, cooler out east. Same pattern as we go through late next week. So the entirety of next week looks to be the same pattern that we see right now with the cooler weather out east and the heat out west. But as we get into Father's Day weekend, things start to change a little bit, okay? We start to break that ridge down a little bit, and we start to build it more to the east across the central U.S. So areas like the Plains into the upper Midwest and Mississippi Valley will start to see temperatures and heat index values heating up Father's Day weekend and then thereafter. So that's the pattern change that is in the offing. So early next week, here's the cool air out east with that trough. Heat will be building out west. That really continues through late next week. So all of next week will be spent with the same conditions. We have a lot of cooler weather out east and a lot of heat out west here. But watch it break down as we go into Father's Day weekend and then thereafter. That heat out west will have to go east as we have more of a progressive pattern here. And that means more of the Great Plains, the Mississippi Valley, and the upper Midwest and parts of Great Lakes will start to heat up in a big way as we get toward Father's Day weekend and thereafter. Looking at the precipitation anomaly from Monday, June 10th, this is next Monday, through Father's Day itself on Sunday, June the 16th, you can see a lot of active weather across the south and southeast and across the eastern seaboard. Dry weather underneath that ridge across the west and the north here, so the upper Midwest will be dry for the most part and out west as we go through Father's Day weekend itself. So we'll keep you updated on the Father's Day weekend forecast, the severe weather, the heavy rainfall, the tropics as well. We didn't touch on the tropics in the video. We'll keep you updated. There's really nothing happening. That's why we didn't mention that, but we will keep you updated on that. So make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. We'll have another video forecast out for you tomorrow. Make sure to give it a like if you like today's weather forecast by giving it a thumbs up. Leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. I'll get to those later on after the video, and I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their Tuesday out there.